Well, welcome everyone. This is your host, KenDFoster. Voices of Courage is being heard around the world right this moment. And I'm so happy that you tuned in because this show is going to help you to really understand the mental emotional connection with the body image and the soul. Interesting. So I'm wondering, how are you feeling about yourself these days? You feeling empowered? You feeling like you feel good, you look good, you're happy, things are going well for you? Um, I'm hoping you're feeling that most of the time. But sometimes things happen in life, whether it be an accident, whether it be maybe a disease, whether it be something that changes your physical image, maybe even aging, right? I know I'm kind of getting there. So whatever it is, sometimes that impacts our image of ourself. And if that's happening to you, there's no reason for you to feel a sense of suffering or pain or worry or concern about that. We have solutions for everything. And remember, healing's always a quest. And what I do in this show, as you know, I bring in the best of the best in the world to help you change, in this case, your body image so that you can change your mental image so that you can reconnect deeply with yourself and feel good and live life to the fullest. We're talking about ageless living. If that's an important subject to you, stay tuned. My guest will be right with me. We're going to take a deep dive into what that means for you.
Are you over 50? Would you like to get up to 33% more income in retirement? Then call now for this free book, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers. This free book reveals little-known secrets about annuity strategies that will help you make the right choices before buying an annuity. Call right now for your free book, and as a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report, both absolutely free for calling Annuity General today.
Call 800-510-0470.
If you or someone you love has developed Parkinson's disease after being exposed to gramoxone or any herbicide containing the deadly chemical paraquat, you may be entitled to financial compensation. If you developed Parkinson's and worked or lived on a farm that used paraquat herbicide treatments with gramoxone, Firestorm, or any listed brand, call now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. There are time deadlines, so don't delay. If you don't win, you pay nothing.
800-771-3380.
Are you feeling stuck or in a holding pattern with your business or life and you're not doing the things you want or love? Then at some point, you're going to be faced with a decision. You'll either choose to keep living in your comfort zone and risk a life of mediocrity, or increase your courage, step into your power, and forge into the unknown, where everything new becomes possible. If you're truly ready to live masterfully, then you need KenDFoster's newest book, The Courage to Change Everything, Strategies and Wisdom to Transform Your Life One Day at a Time. This powerful but simple guide provides you with 365 days of life-transforming wisdom, profound questions, and action steps that will increase your strength and open the doors to success. Stop wondering why your business or life isn't working. The answers are available now. Imagine if you had more courage or another chance to start following your dreams. To pick up your copy of The Courage to Change Everything, visit thecouragetochangeeverything.com. That's thecouragetochangeeverything.com.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Do you have the courage to live agelessly? Well, we're going to find out. We're going to be talking with Dr. TJ. Welcome to the show, Dr. TJ.
Thank you for having me, Ken. Pleasure to be here.
Great to have you. You're up in Orange County, one of my old stomping grounds. in Southern California. So it's great to have you. Let me just give you a kind of a formal introduction, though. Dr. TJ is an MD. He is the medical director and the owner of Ageless MD in Orange County, California. It's a premier state-of-the-art anesthetic medicine destination, helping thousands of patients look and feel their best at every age. And I love that, every age. So he's committed to offering the most advanced innovations in anti-aging. Dr. TJ is widely recognized for delivering unparalleled results with the distinctive skill of a former ER physician. Wow. All right, Dr. TJ, here we are. Let's talk about that. Let me back up. How'd you get into this? From being an ER doc, now you're into the physical healing of the body, and and ageless living. How'd you get into that?
Well, going back to when I first started emergency medicine, which was I worked in the ER for 20 plus years and officially retired. But during that time, it was 2 decades of my life. So I was dedicated to saving lives, seeing all sorts of patients. I mean, I did my training in South Central Los Angeles, so we saw just about everything: gunshot wounds, you name it. There was nothing that I didn't see or was exposed to. And after the years go on, all the weekends, all the holidays away from your family, all the graveyard shifts. So even as a senior level partner, you're still required to work graveyards. And unlike the TV shows where people are sleeping or taking breaks during the middle of the night, no, we're hustling the entire time till 7, 8, 9 in the morning. So it took a toll on my body. I was gaining weight. I was stressed out, and I didn't feel that same empathy anymore. And I knew that it was a disconnect. There was definitely a lack of empathy. I was losing that special touch as a healer, and it was just constant human suffering day after day after day. And I realized if I continue on this path, something's going to happen with my health. Either I'm going to have a heart attack or stroke, or all the inflammation from all that constant stress is building up. Granted, I put on about 30 plus 40 pounds, so the weight had piled on as well. And you kind of think that that's normal. You put on a pound or two every year, and after 20 years, you're overweight. So I had to do something. I had to really make a shift in my life, and I was looking for a way out. And being an emergency room doctor, we're really skilled with our hands, right? We stitch people up, we deliver babies, we put we do spinal taps, we put devices in different parts of the body, we do trauma. So we're quite skilled with our hands. So the actual technical part of going to cosmetic procedures and anti-aging was very simple. What was different, I think, is the artistry of it. And so that's where my creative side came out. And then once I transitioned and I realized that I can go from saving people's lives, and now I'm enhancing people's lives in a different kind of way, and giving really good results, patients kept coming back for more and more and more. And I just realized, wow, I'm actually pretty good at this stuff. I probably should have started this a little sooner. But either way, here I am, turning 50 this year, and I'm excited for the second realm of my second career, basically going into 7+ years now.
Oh, I love that. Well, I'm looking at you on camera here, and you definitely don't look like you're in your 50s. I would guess more like your 30s. So whatever you're doing, it's working. I guess you are a product of the product. Is that what I'm guessing?
Well, the name of my office is Ageless MD, so I hope to give that that perspective. But I have all the secrets. I mean, I know basically how to take someone from whatever the age is and wind the clock back and basically reverse engineer what has happened from how far back you want to go. I mean, it's realistically, you can't be 50 looking like you're 17, but I like that compliment. I appreciate that. Late 30s, I do get sometimes. And I can basically preserve someone from, say, late 30s to about early to mid 50s. And then things start to kind of deteriorate a little quickly, and then we had to do other measures after that. But basically, I'm not a plastic surgeon, so I don't go under the knife. I don't, use a scalpel. I use needles. I use laser energy devices, threads. One of my most known for procedures is a non-surgical thread lift. So I have all sorts of like different tools in my toolbox to.
Yeah, I was looking. I was looking at some of your B-roll, and it was amazing as to the procedures that you're doing. I was like, oh, at first I was amazed, and then I was even more, I guess, curious as to how all that works, because you're getting some of these amazing results. Well, according to the Office of Women's Health, a healthy body image means feeling good about how one looks and feeling comfortable in one's body. And they report that women with a positive body image are more likely to have good physical and mental health. What's been your experience around that?
Well, I can speak from personal experience, and I did mention that I had put on some weight over the years, and so I lost 35 pounds, and then I started feeling a lot better. I mean, just imagine 35 pounds just off the back. And so I felt lighter. I felt more nimble. I started going to the gym and started working out a lot more. And I felt better about myself. And because I slimmed down, I didn't want to go back to that unhealthy physical appearance. Not only did I felt bad, I was, not feeling good about myself. So it gave me a brand new lens. It gives you a brand new outlook on life. So I was able to feel better and continue those healthy habits going forward. So that's my personal experience. But with of course what I do with a non-surgical aesthetics field, it's not all about vanity either. It's really a misconception that this is all vanity, and it's not. I mean, something simple as like a hump on the nose that I can help straighten out. That's been a minor nuisance for a patient for years and since childhood. And when I straighten their nose with a non-surgical nose job, I mean, it takes away that insecurity, and they're a lot more confident in themselves. They they can do more, and they feel better about themselves. That's the bottom line, really.
Well, I know you're not a therapist, but I want to talk a little bit about the association between body image and depression. But we got to take a quick break, so we'll do that when we come back, and we'll talk about that.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Diabetics understand all too well the pain of pricking your fingers, but now by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can immediately reduce your pain. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 4 or more times daily, injecting insulin 3 or more times daily, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. If you or someone you love has developed Parkinson's disease after being exposed to gramoxone or any herbicide containing the deadly chemical paraquat, you may be entitled to financial compensation. If you developed Parkinson's and worked or lived on a farm that used paraquat herbicide treatments with gramoxone, Firestorm, or any listed brand, call now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. There are time deadlines, so don't delay. If you don't win, you pay nothing.
800-771-3380.
CBD, you've heard about it. It's helping people relieve chronic pain, improve sleep, and reduce stress. But how do you find science-based products that feel right for you? Feel Good Hemp was started after the founders used CBD oil to help their dad heal from a 3-month-to-live diagnosis. They deliver all-natural, lab-tested, high-quality products at affordable prices. So visit feelgoodhemp.org/courage. And be sure to use coupon code COURAGE25 to get 25% off your first order. Well, welcome back, everybody. If you just joined me, I'm talking with Dr. Tsay. He's an MD, and he's the medical director and owner of Ageless MD. He's helping individuals have changed their body image and changed their self-image, quite frankly. You know, in a study published in the December 2019 issue of the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health, body dissatisfaction is closely associated with depression, use of performance-enhancing substances, and low self-esteem. Wow, I mean, just knowing that makes me want to just like, hey, let's help a lot of people change that. What do you say to this?
Well, like I said earlier, it's not, one of the big misconceptions about what I do, that it's all about vanity. And there's many things that I treat that are not vanity associated, but they're just they're nuances for different people and different patients. For example, someone may have acne scars that have bothered them. Now, I'll share a good story. Actually, this is a very touching story. A patient that I had treated for her acne scars, and these are one of my, I call tearjerker treatments, because when I do the treatment and I smooth out the acne scars, when they look in the mirror, they actually shed tears. And I'll tell you her story. And when I worked on her, when I gave her that mirror and I did my Bellafill subcision treatment to smooth out her acne scars, she immediately cried. And once she looked in the mirror, and I said, "What's wrong?" And she said, "No, I'm happy. I'm actually very happy, because the acne was a result of my divorce that I was going through, and it's very traumatic for her that she had a very traumatic divorce. It was very hurtful, and the divorce and the acne left her with scarring, and it haunted her for years. And the fact that I was able to help her, she felt like I lifted her spirits and smoothed out her skin, and basically put the trauma from the divorce and the pain behind her. So it's a very interesting story, and I get that all the time whenever I treat different patients and different conditions. But that's just one of many stories, and that's what keeps me coming back every morning and waking up every morning to do what I do every day.
Well, I know I've got a lot of people listening to this right now, and my show's all about courage, right? Because I think it takes courage to walk into your office and maybe even be vulnerable. I mean, it takes courage for sure, to be vulnerable and to share with you, what's going on physically. But I'm sure that there's mental, emotional healing as the physical is healed also. Let's talk about courage. How much courage does it take to walk in and make the changes?
I think, first of all, before they've even come to see me for even a consultation, they've already did a little bit of research. They've already kind of found me through various means, advertisement or whatever online. So they've made that initial appointment. And then when they meet me for a consultation, we do a deep dive. And I don't claim to be a therapist or a psychiatrist, psychologist, but we do a deep dive. So sometimes I play the devil's advocate. Sometimes I ask them straight up, "Why do you feel like you need this procedure?" So we do a deep dive, and I try to understand what is it that they're trying to seek out. And sometimes I will tell them no. Like, no matter what I do, if you're broken on the inside, let's heal that first. Because even what I do is sometimes maybe just temporary. But if you're broken on the inside and you need some further healing on the inside, maybe work on that first, and then come see me later. But sometimes I do have to turn people away, because I know that they're looking for something that I can't offer them. Now, for those that actually have the courage to come in and receive a treatment, they are, when they're sitting in that chair, I try to make them very comfortable, and they are opening up to me and sharing their personal stories about their children, sometimes about painful experiences. I've been through divorce, so whenever they share about their divorce experience, I can share with them that I've been there too, and I completely understand the pain and what it goes through. So I'm empathetic, and I definitely make them feel comfortable in that chair, besides just the pain that they're feeling from whatever procedures that I'm doing for them.
Wow, I love that. And I was thinking, if I'm walking into your office, the first thing that I have to have is a sense of trust that you're going to be able to do the, whatever you commit to doing, with me. Why do people trust you?
I think one of the reasons I think is because I will tell people no, and a lot of practices, it's like I said, to me it's about a long-term relationship. I don't want to like do a bunch of procedures that you don't need, and later on you're regretting it and not not seeing the benefit. I mean, for every procedure, I want to make sure that that's the right fit for the patient. So I think I do say no, and that is a part of the big reason why people do trust me, and also match the right procedure for the patient. Sometimes they may come in thinking they need X, Y, and Z, and then when I do a deep dive and I figure out, well, you probably need to lose a few pounds, probably still need to eat healthier, and let's revisit your facial volume loss after you've lost some weight, and we can go from there, and that right there develops the trust and right away.
Yeah, because you're caring about them. That's what I get. So let's talk about your skill set here and what you focus on, because I'm curious myself. So are you focusing just on the face or other body parts? Let's just start there.
Well, my focus is mainly face. There are a few areas of the body that I do work on. I'll give you some examples. We work on buttock. I like to work on the areas of the buttocks, and I don't do breasts. Sometimes we do work on the abdomen for skin tightening, things like that. But it is mainly facial focus, and with a few areas of the body that we do work on in terms of just skin rejuvenation or skin tightening.
And so are there certain, I know you specialize in, making people look really good. Okay. But are there certain things that you can't work on? Let's say it's gone too far. Let's just talk about that. And you refer them over to maybe a plastic surgeon or someone else, or yeah.
No, absolutely. If someone comes in, for example, I'll give an example. Someone who's 68 years old, they have severe fat loss. They're going through, the aging process, and they're starting to realize that they look different than when they were 40, obvious reasons. And they come and see me. Well, one of the several things that I do is called a non-surgical facelift. So I use either dermal fillers to restore the volume in their face, and that would actually lift the face. I can use PDO absorbable threads where I insert absorbable sutures underneath the skin to lift the face, and it gets anchored underneath the skin. Everything is invisible and covered, and that gives like a non-surgical facelift. Or also have energy devices such as radio frequency and energy radio frequency microneedling, and that goes in using small acupuncture-sized needles, and it delivers energy into the skin, and it gives lifting and tightening to the skin. Now, those are only for the right candidates. If someone is actually in need of a surgical facelift, I have no problems giving them a business card of a good colleague of mine down the street that will make the incision, that will give them the right treatment. So, not every patient that I take, and sometimes I will refer them away if necessary.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that. I think that's really important. Listen, I got to take another quick break. When we come back, though, I'd like to understand some of the procedures that have the most dramatic results. Okay? Most dramatic results when we come back.
If you or someone you love has developed Parkinson's disease after being exposed to gramoxone or any herbicide containing the deadly chemical paraquat, you may be entitled to financial compensation. If you developed Parkinson's and worked or lived on a farm that used paraquat herbicide treatments with Gramoxone, Firestorm, or any listed brand, call now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. There are time deadlines, so don't delay. If you don't win, you pay nothing.
800-771-3380.
Hi, folks. Medicare Part C plans with extra benefits like getting money added back to your Social Security check may now be available to you in your zip code. Make sure you're not missing out. It's simple. 1, call the number on your screen. 2, they'll look up your zip code and see if you're eligible. 3, they'll check for plans with extra benefits like prescriptions, dental coverage, and the benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every single month. Call now.
I called to get everything I deserve.
I called to check my zip code for a plan with a benefit that adds money back to my Social Security check.
I called to check my zip code.
Millions of people have called the Medicare Coverage Helpline. Call, check your zip code, see if you're eligible, and get what you deserve. Call now.
Call 1-800-374-2308. That's 1-800-374-2308 now.
Well, welcome back, everybody. So I'm talking to Dr. TJ, and we're talking about some of the results you can get with working with him. Dr. TJ, most dramatic results that you've seen with these procedures, what is that?
So I do what's called a non-surgical facelift, right? And so for those who are the right candidates, the range is about 30 to maybe mid 50s is kind of like the cutoff. And with age, what happens is that we start losing the fat in our face, right? And so fat is youth. It is youth. So if you notice people that are a little bit on the heavier side, they look healthy, right? They don't have any wrinkles. They're nice and plump. But as we get older, we actually fat atrophy. We lose fat in the superficial fat compartments, and the fat is what's holding up our face. And when the fat gets lost, everything starts to fall. So that's number one. 2, the ligaments that are holding our skin and holding our facial structures in place start to become loose and lax. So the ligaments start to give less support. And number 3, as we get into our the aging process, we start losing collagen, especially people that get into menopause, for example. When they start losing your estrogen is responsible for collagen production. So when your estrogen falls off, your collagen is going to fall off. So all those 3 factors, the fat, the ligaments, and one more, as you get into menopause as well, the estrogen is responsible for your bone density. So people don't realize it. Even if you're in your mid 50s, your bone structure of your face starts to deteriorate just slightly. So all of that needs to be reinforced. And when I do what's called a liquid facelift, I use dermal fillers and in a very natural way. Just want to clarify that. I don't try to make people look overdone, but we go do a deep dive. We support all the bony structures. We replace the fat that's lost, and we support the ligaments. And then we also can rejuvenate the collagen that's been lost. So that's going to give you a home run, dramatic result. We're addressing everything from the inside out, from the bony structures to the fat, ligaments, and then finally take care of the skin, which is very important.
Dr. TJ, with the fillers, are there, first of all, how long do these fillers last, and are there side effects to the fillers?
Well, there's side effects to everything in life. Just want to mention that. But the fillers are made of hyaluronic acid. Your body has hyaluronic acid in your skin. That's what hydrates your skin. So it's nothing foreign. Your body is used to seeing it. These fillers typically last between 6 to 12 months, or sometimes even 1 to 2 years, depending on the product that's used. Now, we also have fillers that cause your body to grow its own collagen, and also have fillers that cause your body to grow its own fat. The first of those, the former that I mentioned, is called Sculptra. It's actually right behind me. I'm a trainer for Sculptra. And when this product gets injected, it basically hacks your body to make its own collagen. And then I use another product called Renuva. Renuva is an interesting product. It's from donor tissue, so someone who's actually passed, and they've generated and they've collected their fatty tissue to get the growth factors. And when that's injected, it causes your own body to grow its own fat. And those are more longer term solutions than your regular hyaluronic acid fillers. But I would say that just to clarify, this industry, especially in California, has a bad rep. So people think of fillers as overstuffed, and I want to clarify that for every one person that you see, that when you walk by and you go, oh boy, they've got too much filler in their face, they've got too much work done, there's 10 people that you walk by that get fillers, they get Botox, and they look completely normal, but they would never tell you they got anything done. So there's a lot of people, it can be done very naturally. It doesn't have to be overdone. And a lot of people don't realize that so maybe some of their friends that don't claim that they have anything done do get some procedures, like little stuff here and there, minor tweaks.
Wow. Okay. Well, listen, I really appreciate this. This is really informative to our audience and to myself. So I appreciate it. And we got to close out this segment. Some of our shows are going to be leaving us now. So I want to thank Dr. TJ for being on this segment with us.
Are you being audited, and do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Is the IRS threatening to take more of your money? Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate your tax bill and reduce your stress. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, do not call the IRS alone. Call a Tax Doctor now for a tax emergency analysis.
Are you over 50? Would you like to get up to 33% more income in retirement? Then call now for this free book, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers. This free book reveals little-known secrets about annuity strategies that will help you make the right choices before buying an annuity. Call right now for your free book, and as a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report, both absolutely free for calling Annuity General today.
Call 800-510-0470.
If you or someone you love has developed Parkinson's disease after being exposed to gramoxone or any herbicide containing the deadly chemical paraquat, you may be entitled to financial compensation. If you developed Parkinson's and worked or lived on a farm that used paraquat herbicide treatments with gramoxone, Firestorm, or any listed brand, call now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. There are time deadlines, so don't delay. If you don't win, you pay nothing.
800-771-3380.
Are you feeling stuck or in a holding pattern with your business or life, and you're not doing the things you want or love? Then at some point, you're going to be faced with a decision. You'll either choose to keep living in your comfort zone and risk a life of mediocrity, or increase your courage, step into your power, and forge into the unknown, where everything new becomes possible. If you're truly ready to live masterfully, then you need KenDFoster's newest book, The Courage to Change Everything, Strategies and Wisdom to Transform Your Life One Day at a Time. This powerful but simple guide provides you with 365 days of life-transforming wisdom, profound questions, and action steps that will increase your strength and open the doors to success. Stop wondering why your business or life isn't working. The answers are available now. Imagine if you had more courage or another chance to start following your dreams. To pick up your copy of The Courage to Change Everything, visit thecouragetochangeeverything.com. That's thecouragetochangeeverything.com.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm interviewing Dr. TJ. He's an MD and a medical director and the owner of Ageless MD in Orange County. At the bottom of the screen, you can see we're scrolling his website there so that you can find out a lot more about him. As you know, we have people around the world that are listening to this. Dr. TJ, can you support people in other countries? Do they fly in to see you? What happens there?
Actually, we do. I just have a necklace. A lady just came last week from Turks and Caicos, and she bought me a present. I thought it was very sweet of her. This is the second time she's flown in to visit me, And I wear her necklace every day just to remind me that there's people from other parts of the world that fly in. I've gotten people from Europe, from Asia that fly in, and of course all across the country locally. And we do support those people and direct them to various hotels and tell them where to stay nearby, and also make sure that we have proper follow up because especially for my out of state and out of country visitors, I want to make sure that I follow up with them and not just see them and goodbye. That I make sure that we still keep in touch and I can be there to support them with whatever they need in the next 24, 48 hours before they fly back home.
Makes sense. Let's talk about mindset of the healthy patient that recovers quickly. What is that mindset? Let's talk about that.
Well, the mindset is, before I talk about mindset, I think it's important to talk about setting realistic expectations. So that's paramount before I do any procedure. I like to under promise and over deliver.
Right.
So I always set my expectations at a very reasonable level, and I don't expect to over promise them anything. In fact, if I over deliver, then they're even happier because I didn't actually promise them that I would give them that good of a result. So that's key. I think just setting realistic expectations so they're not expecting so much. And I'm not a miracle worker. I do minor tweaks and I improve people's self-image and self-confidence, but I'm not a therapist. But I do hope and pray every day that the patients who come in, they feel my energy and I can definitely help heal their pain. Sometimes just even listening to their problems.
I get that. And, watching some of the B-roll that we'll have on the show here, I noticed that, when you talk about energy, you're using some devices that really put off some energy and really, really transform the flesh, which, what is that little device that it's not, it looks like it's spinning. It's got, it's like red and green. And what is that device?
I'm not sure which B-roll you're talking about, but we have various light energies and lasers.
Yeah.
So that you may be referring to our yellow laser that we use to treat vascular pigmentation, rosacea, redness.
That's the one I was seeing. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's an energy. It's a laser, and laser is basically using a specific wavelength of light to deliver light and energy to that skin to treat various conditions. There's different wavelengths to target different parts of the skin, whether it's laser hair removal or you're targeting vascular, you're targeting pigment at different levels of the skin. So we use energy to deliver to correct like unwanted skin conditions.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I love that. So let's go back over to that mindset question. So, obviously you've got a very strong will and mindset yourself to get you in, what you're doing. You've got a lot of courage to, practice the medicine, change your lifestyle and everything you've done. Let's talk about the mindset of the individual that comes in. That is going to heal probably quicker than the ones that aren't. What is that mindset that you see in these kind of patients?
Having a positive attitude, having realistic expectations, and having the proper guidance and instructions from myself or the staff, and knowing that we're always going to be there for them. We have a really good messaging system where the patients can text us anytime and get immediate feedback. So we're always there for them to hold their hand and to guide them through the process. Because some of the treatments do require some downtime. So they're going to look not too good before they actually look much better. If you get what I'm saying, they're gonna have a little bit of downtime. So they're gonna go through a phase where their skin's gonna look a little different, maybe a little red, and then once everything heals, then they actually look a lot better. So I think just being positive, having a positive outlook, and then also having good family support. If someone's supporting them versus trying to do things behind their spouse's back. I get that a lot. People who are trying to hide procedures from their spouse, and this shouldn't be something that's shamed. But unfortunately, it is. There's a lot of shaming in this industry of why are you doing this, or spouses not being supportive. And so I like the mindset. I think they heal better, or they do better, when they have the support of their partner, their family members, their spouse.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I guess there's still some stigma in the world about changing what quote God has given us. So unfortunately that is still there. How do you deal with that when a woman or a man comes in and they don't have that support of their spouse, to trying to hide it? What do you say anything to them, or you just let them be on their own, or what's your thought around that?
I mean, I always think they should be honest. I never feel I never try to encourage them to keep it a secret unless it's absolutely necessary or they're going to be hurt from it. But I tell them to be honest with their partners and to reassure them. You know,
Mhm.
Dr. Tsay is he delivers natural results. He's not going to make me look overdone. You may not even notice that I got anything done unless I told you I got something done. So I try to tell them to just be honest and keep it to reassure their family members. And I think that the family members, if they hear that, they'll understand. They're not gonna. I'm not gonna change you where you're gonna be unrecognizable, but we're gonna
Mhm.
do minor things and tweaks to enhance a few things, and you're
Mhm.
still gonna look like you. Like if
Mhm.
you came into my office, I would not change you. You would still leave looking like you, but we'll work on a few things to make, things improve in different areas that you would ask for improvement, like skin or
Mhm.
some skin tightenings or things like that. But you
Mhm.
would still look like you when you left.
Mhm. Yeah, and you still be you, except you might have a little more confidence.
Absolutely.
Mhm. Okay.
Absolutely. I think that's key.
Yeah, I do too. All right. So, how do people get a hold of you, by the way?
Well, I'm on various platforms. I think I
Mhm.
probably the most of our information, or at least most current information, is on our Instagram,
Mhm.
and that's ageless_MD. And then,
Mhm.
of course, you have my website scrolling on the banner on the bottom, and
Mhm.
that gives some current information too,
Mhm.
as a web page. And from a web page, you can also go to our Instagram.
Mhm. Well, we have a big listening audience, so I want to let the listening audience know they can reach Dr. Tsay at ageless-md.com, ageless-md.com. That's great. All right, so I'm thinking about having this procedure. What's the first thing I need to keep in mind? I think we've covered, be realistic, right? Have a positive mindset, be courageous, right? I'm going to have this procedure. What can I expect when I walk in the office?
Where you're going to expect to be greeted by a lot of smiles. Our staff is very friendly. We don't bite. We have a very comfortable office, a lot of lighting, and we are very respectful of people's privacy. So we have a big enough waiting room where you could wear a mask and sit in the corner, and no one will really recognize you. Um, and then also, we make sure we educate you. Besides the consultation, we educate you on what to expect going into the procedure. And if you're frightened or you're a little nervous, we have what's called laughing gas or nitrous oxide to help alleviate some of the anxiety. And then with proper numbing, we could make most procedures relatively uh, painless to a certain degree. But I think most of it is a lot of anxiety though when going into a procedure, not so much the actual physical pain.
One thing we didn't cover, well, several things. I got some more questions for you. One is you touched on it, but if a person's coming in for a procedure and it's been a lifestyle that's got them into needing the procedure, how do you help them change their lifestyle? Yeah, because otherwise they're just spending money that they'll have to spend again and again and again. So what do you encourage there with the individuals?
Well, it depends on the lifestyle. It depends on the procedure. I mean, there's the various combinations and variations of that. I'll give an example. If someone is, um, I have patients that ping pong in their weight. They fluctuate in weight all the time. They go from high and low, and they gain and lose weight, and so they ping pong, and so that affects their facial fat volume. So I address that, and I ask them every time I see them, where are you in your weight? Are you up or are you down? Because that affects how I see your face, and that's going to affect how I come up with your treatment plan long term. And so we talk about different things like controlling the weight, or if they need to lose weight, because sometimes they may want me to dissolve a little bit of fat under the chin. But if they can lose that on their own, if they just drop 5 pounds, I tell them to do that first. And then once they drop 5 pounds, whatever stubborn fat that's remaining, we can get rid of it after they've done their 5-pound weight loss. Another example where I couldn't change lifestyle, I'll give you an example. There's a skin condition called melasma. Melasma is a abnormal pigmentation that a lot of women struggle with. There's no cure. It's due to hormones, it's due to having children, it's due to birth control pills, but it's an abnormal pigmentation on their face. It's exacerbated by sun and heat. So, for example, if a patient had severe melasma and they want me to help their melasma, but they are an avid surfer. So that's a challenging one. So I can't stop the patient from surfing because they enjoy surfing too much. So then that's something that I probably couldn't help them with because of their lifestyle. Now I tell them to use a lot of sunscreen, which if they do, of course, but still just being out in the sun is going to exacerbate the melasma. So sometimes I can and sometimes I can't help them with their lifestyle.
No, I get that. Hey, the melasma, is that the dark aging spots that are on a person's skin? Is that what we're talking about here? Or is that something else?
No, it's like a cheek rash on the cheeks here, and it's a abnormal discoloration. Some men have it. Mostly it's women. It's usually sometimes after pregnancy, and it gets worse with sun, heat, UV radiation, being in the sauna too much. Anything that generates heat will exacerbate it, and it's some men get it, but it's mostly with women. And it's a lifelong process. It's once you have it, you have it for life. There's no cure.
Oh, wow. What about those brown spots that show up in people? Is there anything that you can do to help?
There's different sunspots and age spots. Those are easier to treat because those are, you didn't have them when you were in your 30s or 20s, but now you see them when you're in your 40s and 50s. So those are easily treated. Some of those are just can be treated with a simple chemical peel. Some of them can be treated with some laser energy, and we basically deliver the energy to break up the abnormal pigmentation, and then the pigmentation falls off. So some of those age spots, sunspots are a lot easier to treat than something like melasma that's more hormonal regulated.
Oh, that's great, man. Wow. Okay, this has been really informative. So what's your kind of message to people that are listening to this and they're kind of on the fence going, I don't know if I need this. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. But what's your message to those folks?
Do your research. Make sure you're comfortable with the person who's you're going to be working with, because you have to be comfortable with that person. They're going to be putting a needle in your face or putting an energy device on your face. So you have to feel comfortable with that person, and make sure that they are recommending the right treatments for you, meaning, they're not recommending other things that you may not necessarily need, and you're on the same page. So that's pretty much it. And then also, lastly, make sure that you're ready for it, because I never want to work on a patient that they're not ready for a procedure. And I clarify that in the room. Are you ready for this? Because if you're not, if you're hesitating, if you're ho and humming, and you're like, I don't know, that's a red flag for me to abort. I'm going to reschedule you. And when you're ready, you come back and see me, but I don't think you're ready at this point. So, make sure that you have the right mindset going into the procedure and that you're mentally, emotionally, spiritually ready for it.
That's really good. One last thing we didn't discuss, and I've got a couple minutes. How expensive are procedures? Does insurance cover any procedures? Where are we with that? Maybe in ranges.
So I don't take any insurance. Most of what I do is cosmetic or elective procedures. So, and I don't do like skin pathology. I'm not a dermatologist. But if you say you needed a mole removed, or you wanted a skin check for skin cancer, then you would see a dermatologist, and that would be covered under insurance, at a dermatologist's office. But what we do is more beautification, more enhancing, so more elective type stuff. So that wouldn't be covered under insurance.
And the price range, is there any kind of
it
a
could
range?
Be from it could range from a few $100s. It could range to several thousand, depending on what you're trying to do.
Okay. And one last thing, procedures, how that you mentioned they last, several months, several years. So I guess you got a lot of repeat customers because they would have to come back for fillers and that type of thing. Is that accurate or not?
Well, I tell people this, even if they get something more permanent, such as like a facelift, even a facelift, that's a surgical option. It's not permanent, and maybe it lasts 10 years, But people have the assumption that you know, if something is permanent, that's forever. And I tell people nothing in life is forever. Nothing. Even if I fix something now, today, you know, your body's still going to undergo aging process. So things will change 10 years down the road. So nothing in life is permanent, and you just have to expect to, you know, handle it when you get there, when time comes to readdress that issue. But nothing is permanent, though.
I love it. Well, listen, Dr. TJ, thank you so much for being on the show today. It was very informative. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure my audience does too. And we hope that you have abundance and lots of great patience in your life, and you keep on sharing the joy of, you know, connecting physically, mental health wise, emotionally, you know, and soulfully, because that's what you do. That's what inspired me to bring you on the show. Thanks again.
Thank you, Ken. Thanks for having me. I hope you got a lot out of this show. We'll see you next time.
Ton. Yes, we will. So I hope you've got a lot out of the show too today. And, you know, it's so important how we take care of ourselves, how we decide to live agelessly. There's no reason for you to prematurely age if you are eating right, exercising right, you know, have the right practitioners around you, taking the right supplementation, doing whatever you need to do to really increase your vitality and stay young and stay ageless. That's what we're all about here today. So thank you for joining me. Until next time, hope you continue to see the unseeable, know the unknowable, and do the impossible.